Comic Book Savant Extra. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant Extra podcast feed, the Patreon exclusive podcast. This episode, we're going to be doing a movie review. I had a chance to check out Wonder Woman Bloodlines, which is the new DC animated film release for this quarter, I guess, since they're doing one about every quarter now. They're doing 4 a year. We're coming off of Batman Hush, which for me, from my review, if you don't remember, landed kind of mediocre for me. I ended up buying it, adding it to my collection, but I've had mixed feelings about it. And the same guy that directed Batman Hush was co-directing Wonder Woman Bloodlines, so I definitely, coming off of that, had some apprehension about this film, even though I really enjoyed the original Wonder Woman animated film they did about 10 years ago. So I was real skeptical going in, but let me just go over some of the information on this again. The title is Wonder Woman Bloodlines. It's directed by Justin Copeland as well as Sam Liu. Again, Justin Copeland on his directorial debut, as far as with the DC animated films, was Batman Hush, which was the last release. This one, they paired him with Sam Liu, which is probably one of their most tenure out of what I would call their second generation of animation directors. If you think about James Tucker, Bruce Timm, and all of them as they're the first generation directors, Sam Liu has kind of led the charge in that next phase of directors to oversee the DC animated film releases. So it was good they paired him with a more tenured director. The script was written by I hope I pronounced this correctly, Margaret Scott, and the cast is as follows. We have Rosario Dawson reprising her role as Wonder Woman, Princess Diana. We have Jeffrey Donovan as Steve Trevor. Hope I pronounced this correctly. Marie Avropoulos as Silver Swan, and also Vanessa Kaptelis, Kaptelis is how it's pronounced in the movie. Kimberly Brooks as Cheetah and Giganta. We have Adrian Moore as Etta Candy, Michael Dorn as Ferdinand, Cree Summer as Hippolyta and Medusa, Courtney Taylor as Dr. Poison, Nia Vardalos as Julia Kaptelis, and Constance Zimmer as Veronica Cale. And I have to say, first off, what stood out is that this was a really nice script. Really enjoyed the movie. I think this was my best turn at seeing Rosario Dawson as the voice talent behind the Wonder Woman. She's pretty much been doing a voice for Wonder Woman since the New 52, and this in no way is connected to the original Wonder Woman film from 10 years ago. That was just a straight up origin story, more like to the comic book roots at the time. This Wonder Woman Bloodline serves as it's two parts. It's part prequel to her appearance in, I think, Justice League War, and then it's part of it is before that, and the later part of the movie is post Justice League War. So it's a prequel to where like the timeline is now, but it jumps around as a part prequel, part post Justice League War, as the timeline suggests by comments that are made throughout the movie. But I thought this was the most they gave her to do, and this is the biggest, role she had. Again, they haven't given her much to work with in the movies. Her lines were relatively small, and she didn't get as much time to shine as some of the Batman or Superman in the particular film. So this is the most meat they gave her, with her having her own film, being the headline voice talent, and she did a great job. And she's been getting better and better, and they've given her a little bit more. I really enjoyed her interaction with Rebecca Romaine and not Raina, the Death of Superman. She did a really good job. They, her interacting with Rosario, them going back and forth. It's when I started to see that they're starting to open up and kind of give Rosario more lines and letting her shine because she's a phenomenal actress. So it's good that they were giving her a little bit more to do, and she really shined through bright in this film. Another thing that really caught me immediately is that the animation, and I've talked about this in my previous reviews. If you go back, even on the Comic Books Savant podcast, before I moved these reviews over here, I talked about it a lot that the animation would be sketchy in certain areas where the consistency would kind of drop off at parts and would be somewhat disappointing because the quality just would be, it's animation, it's hand-drawn animation, so it can vary. I know that, but I do like a consistent through line with animation. If you start at a certain level, try to maintain it. And at the rate they're pumping these out now, like pretty much one per quarter, that it might cause the quality to go down. But this was the first time I was really seeing that the artwork, the animation stayed consistent throughout. I didn't catch any pockets of where I felt like, oh, this was really rushed, or they did something that was kind of a shortcut that or glaring that really turned me off to the animation in a certain spot. The other movies have been, films have been known for that. And again, I spoke on it repeatedly in previous reviews, and I was glad to see that as they're putting out more of these and varying up the stories, that they're starting to work on the quality, the overall quality. They did a good job with Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so we're starting to see the quality step up for the most part. So I'm really happy with that because I'm a huge fan of these DC animated movies, and I pretty much buy about 90% of them at this point. So these are movies that I will go back and revisit and watch again. So that's a big thing for me, just being a consumer and someone that really collects this film series. They also did a great job with a strong voice cast that really complemented one another. It's a strong female cast as well. And it was a really star-studded. We're talking about Rosario Dawson. You're talking about Kimberly Brooks, which is massive as voice talent. Cree Summer also. These are huge voice actors that have multiple credits behind their name and has been in the game for a long time. We have Adrienne Moore, one of the actresses from Orange is the New Black. You have Nia Vardalos, which My Big Fat Greek Wedding. So they had a lot of talent here. Like that was low key. You didn't hear about anything about this voice cast till like I'm watching doing the notes and doing the research after like seeing the movie, and I was just like really taken back. Like, man, this is one of the stronger voice casts that they had, and I'm really really happy with that. I'm a huge Andrea Romero fan, which was for the longest time was the voice director behind most of these movies and so many cartoons and these DC animated films that retired a few years back. And Wes Gleason is the main person that has replaced her as the main voice director for these DC animated films. And he's done a really good job. Now, I did complain about, I felt like his direction of the voice talent in Batman Hush lacked energy, and I felt like it hurt the movie. But he bounced back because he had been doing a really strong job, and I have to say he did a great job with not just casting this film, but getting good energy and great performances. And like I said, it was definitely a balance here that they really complemented one another, and it was good chemistry and wordplay between all the actors, all the voice talent in this film, which I think really perked this up, where this could have fell flat if the performances were flat, but it really added another dimension and really drove this home for me. Another thing is they had a wide variety of villains from Wonder Woman's Rogue Gallery. Now, it's not as massive as Batman's or Superman's, but they really maximize the use of them. We've had Cheetah, Giganta, Dr. Poison, Silver Swan, Veronica Cale. Who else popped up? Maybe that was everybody, but it was it wasn't just one single villain. they used a lot, and they played well off each other, and they added to the story, and it wasn't like, oh, they just stuffed a lot of villains in there. They were used very smartly, which I enjoyed that as well. Um, Also, um, again, like I spoke on earlier about Justin Copeland, I feel like he did, redeem himself somewhat after what I thought was a lackluster first effort with his direction of Batman Hush. And again, I don't know how much praise to put upon him in this situation, or was it due to him, or was it due to the fact that Sam Liu is co-directing on this? I don't know how much involvement he had as a co-director in it. He was also one of the executive producers, so I don't know, was it he was more producer and less director, or what. So I guess we have to look forward to whatever Justin Copeland's next single directorial effort will be for DC Animated. But they really stepped their game up on this one, and this was a very, very enjoyable film. I felt like the action was well done. They did great pacing, good story. This has to be, out of the recent releases in the last like year or two, this probably has to be right there at the top as one of my favorite right now. Definitely gonna buy this one and add this one to the collection for sure. And I also think they did a great job in world building around Wonder Woman, because I think they haven't done a great job. They've done the new 52 films, and they've done a stellar job with Batman. They've created a whole universe around him for his films, and I don't think they've done it as much right now for Superman. It's gotten better with the death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen. So I would like to see more of these films with other characters besides Batman and Superman. The Justice League films are good as well. I don't mind, but I would like to see another Wonder Woman movie, animated film that doesn't take another 10 years for it to be made. I would like to see, they did some great stuff with Aquaman and the Justice League film, with Throne of Atlantis, and they haven't followed up. I would like to see a Aquaman film, especially that it was a $1 billion film just a couple of years ago. You would think they would be due to do an animated release, give him a solo film, since they've pretty much established his origin in the Throne of Atlantis film. They haven't done a Green Lantern movie. They did two, and they were loosely connected, but I would like to see them to continue with maybe the new 52 version of the Green Lantern, since they're sticking in that new 52 area with these animated films. I would like to see another Green Lantern, a Green Arrow movie. It's so many characters that would be very interesting for them to span out. But I'm glad in this film, seeds were set for a sequel to this movie. And again, I don't know as far as how this lined up. This was supposed to be, in that time around the time frame that, we are getting ready for Wonder Woman 1984 next summer. I don't know, would they do another one before that film will come out, or maybe right after? But I would like to see one in the next year or two, a sequel to this, because especially how the film ended, they definitely set up seeds for another one. So I hope we get to see it in the next, I would say in the next 2 years, at most. I wouldn't go beyond that part. So I'm really hype about it. My overall rating for this is a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, this is definitely a film I'm adding to the collection. It's a one that was funny. Like I said, it was just good from top to bottom, and it's one that I could say I would rewatch again and again. So I would highly recommend Wonder Woman Bloodlines. Check it out when you get a chance. It's out now digitally, and you can get physical copies of it. You can pre-order it now through any of your online retailers. I saw Amazon has it. Release date is October 22nd, which, as the time of this recording, is a little ways off, but by the time you might be hearing this, it probably will be already out. So you can grab it now. I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. But that's all I really have to say about the film. So definitely keep your eyes posted on it. We're going to have more. I'm going to keep doing these reviews because, like I said, I love these movies. You guys voted on me doing the reviews here to keep doing them. So I hope you're enjoying the reviews, and I hope you're checking out some of these movies. And if you are, let me know what you think about the movies below in the comments here on Patreon. I love hearing comments from you guys. Sometimes I hear from people, sometimes I don't. Feel free to comment more within, the comments of the episodes. I always like hearing what you guys think, and leave suggestions on if it's an older film that you want to know my thoughts on. Maybe I reviewed it so long ago that you didn't hear my thoughts, or I can go back and re-review some of the films, because some of them I might have felt one way at one point, and I would like to revisit them and do a review for you guys. So if it's any of the DC animated films that you would like to see me re-review or review for the first time, let me know also in the comments, and I will definitely check it out, because like I said, I pretty much own about 90% of them. So definitely let me know in the comments below. But that's all I have for you guys for this episode. As always, I'm your host, James Harris. This is the Comic Book Savant Extra podcast feed on Patreon. And until I talk to you guys again, you guys stay safe, and I will talk to you soon. Take care and have a good week. Bye.